Hello, everybody. Sorry, that was weird. It had me sign in. So welcome. Say hello if you're here. I have it set up where I can read comments now. Usually I have to have Grace here or my husband here to help me read comments, but I figured out a way to get my comments here. Welcome. We're gonna do some hearts today for Valentine's Day. My hearts sold really fast on my Etsy, so it was time to restock. I've got 3X and 4X shirts, so we've got a big space to work with, so we'll have some fun. These will be relatively easy because hearts are easy. Oh, do I have my, I don't think I have my washable marker. We'll figure that out when we get there, but that is an important thing you're gonna want, is a washable marker. Let me get, let's see here. Or Taylor's chalk, which I have right here. So we can do some Taylor's chalk. All right, so let's show a few things that we did last time. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't remember a lot of the colors I used here. But this one I do remember was meteorite and teal. You can see the meteorite right here. This is meteorite. And then the rest is teal. If you were here last time, we did a lot of teal as like a base color. And then we played with jacquards, or jacquard or jacquard, I don't know. We played with their ice dye colors to see how they turned out. So this one was black opal and teal. Is that so cool? I also should note these were 60% cotton, 40% polyester. I honestly didn't know that, but now we do. So the colors are a little muted. Here, let's see if you can see. A little bit muted, but that is normal for a cotton poly mix. The lowest I go is usually 50% cotton, 50% poly. So this is right on the edge, but it's still, you can still get beautiful dye results. They're just not as bright. This one was poinsettia and teal. Turned out really cool. I really like this one. Poinsettia is like purple and lime green, which is not what a poinsettia looks like, but we're just gonna ignore that. This one was nebula and teal. This is 100% cotton. Yeah, so here you can see the difference in the teal. You see the difference between that teal right there and that teal right there. That's the difference 100% cotton would make for you. All right, let's get into some hearts. A couple things about the hearts today. I did not soda ash soak these shirts, and I did that on purpose so I could show you what you do if you don't want to do a soda ash soak. Some people never soda ash soak, and it's because they don't really want to get their hands wet. Soda ash is kind of corrosive, so sometimes you become allergic to it if you use it a lot, so some people don't like to soda ash soak for that reason. Another reason is because it's an extra step. It takes 20 minutes. If you don't have 20 minutes, you can just whip them out and do it without the soap. And essentially it's called a soda ash sprinkle, and I'll show you how to do that. For these hearts, I'm going to mix a liquid dye, and I'll show you how I do that. Here, let's pull it up. Look at all my scissors and stuff. Let me zoom it in here. I've got my cable right in the way. Let's see here. It says I have my live chat going, but I don't see any messages. Okay. So I'm going to do a fire red for all of my hearts today. Pink looks really good in a heart too. I've done blues, I've done all sorts of things, but today I decided to just keep all my hearts red.
Guess what what hot air balloon you were seeing? The
what?
Silver Star.
Cool. I'm live right now.
I got from the people
I'm recording right now, but that is awesome. We have hot air balloons outside of our door, so Leo got a business card if you ever want to ride that hot air balloon, everybody. Okay, so I'm doing fire red. Let me show you how I mix this. I already put about 4 ounces. This is not an exact science today. If you're really trying to get an exact color, You can measure it for 4 ounces per teaspoon. That is the formula if there is no star. Now, can you see here? It says fire red with a star. It says it right here too. Fire red with a star. That means you double the amount of dye. So this is not quite 4 ounces. Also, there is soda ash mixed in this, so that means that this dye bottle is not going to last more than like an hour. So if you're doing a lot of liquid dyes, do not mix it with soda ash. It corrodes the color pretty quick. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull this out so that I don't get dye on the thing here. Okay. So this is a half teaspoon, so I'm gonna do 3 of these. Whatever, I'll do 4. So that would be 2 teaspoons per 4 ounces. I think it's 4 ounces. It might just be like 3, but that's okay. Actually, I'm just gonna do that because this is a 6 ounce bottle and I didn't fill it that high up. So I'm going to, why is this leaking? Is there a hole in this? What's going on? Weird. Okay, so let me get my gloves on. One thing I don't really love about liquid dyes is they're pretty messy, and you'll see that here. My nitrile gloves, by the way, are what I use. I get them from Costco. I get a 400 pack for like $12, or you can get like a 50 pack from Walmart for like $8. So it's a much better deal to get them from Costco. Now you know. All right. Okay. All right, here we go. So I've got my liquid mixed up in fire red, and I am going to fold. So to start, I'm gonna do just a simple heart so you can see what that looks like. So here is my shirt. We've got 100% cotton, not soda ash soaked. This is a 3X. First thing I'm gonna do is find the center. Let's see here. Never go off of the tag. That's a hot tip I have for you. Because the tag is rarely centered. So you can see here, the tag is right there. Well, there we go. It's relatively centered, but we'll do that. Washable markers are ideal to tailor's chalk, specifically if you use Crayola. That is my hot tip for you because they show up a little bit easier. But this is what we've got. Hey, babe. Will you grab me a washable marker? Just one of Nola's markers. I'll show you the difference between what tailor's chalk looks like and what a washable marker looks like. So I found the top center and I found the bottom center, and I am going to fold it just like that. All right. Oh, no. I tipped over my thing here.
I think the purple one is probably the best.
Probably blue.
If it works.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll see if it works. Okay. So I like to actually draw my hearts this way. I'm a righty, so I like to do it this way. You find what's best for you. This takes some trial and error. Your first heart might not be exactly how you want it, because you might not know how big or how little. So one thing I like to do is find the armpit right here and then go just a little bit lower than the armpit, because I don't want it like up on your chest, but like up on your sternum, but I do want it like on the chest. So I'm gonna go like right here and mark that as like my center. So you can see here, this is a lot brighter than the tailor's chalk. If I did the tailor's chalk, you can see that's not quite that bright. Okay, so hearts. For this, you're gonna wanna look at how long your fabric is. You can't see how long my fabric is down here. But this is a relatively large shirt, so I'm going to do a relatively large heart. Again, if you're doing like a toddler shirt or something. Oh, yeah, this marker is... My daughter leaves her markers open a lot, so... And that one is completely gone. Okay, and let's try this one. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to have to go with this one. And you're just going to do a half heart. Okay? Like so. One mistake I've made is not going deep enough right here. I like went like that and then it ends up looking like a guitar pick. So you're going to want to make sure you come down relatively tight right here so you don't get like just a guitar pick, but you get a heart. Okay? I like to fold from the bottom. So I'm going to start right here and accordion fold, if you can see that. It's a little accordion fold. If you're here, say hi. I would love to see who's here today. And if you have any questions, please let me know. That's the whole thing, right? We're answering questions. So when you come around the circles like this, or the round areas, you want to, what you're trying to do is create a straight line with the heart you drew. So this is how you do any sort of shape. If you've seen someone on TikTok or whatever do a cow, that's a popular one right now. A cow or a frog face or a peace sign. I've never done a peace sign. I've never done one. I should try one. This is how it's done. You accordion fold like so. Man, my fan on my computer is really loud. Can you guys hear that? All right. So I'm going to take my Sinew right here. If you don't have Sinew, you can use a rubber band, but you won't have it as sharp as an edge. And I actually might do a rubber band so you can see the difference of what that looks like. So I'm going to wrap it 3 to 4 times. I did a test with Sinew. I wrapped it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, all the way up to 7 to see if it made a difference in how bold the line was. And essentially after the 3rd, it didn't look that different, but it was really hard to take out the 7th. So I will post a video about that, don't you worry. I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do a gravity for this one. Those look really cool with the hearts because it's kind of like the heart kind of like explodes. So I'm going to do a gravity, and I'm not going to be specific here about the fan. I'm just going to kind of wedge it into the gutter. I'm going to want, that one's too big. Let's see if this will fit. Okay, it fit. There it is. And I'm going to grab my pool noodle. I put my pool noodle down here at the bottom. And I just do that so the ice doesn't fall down. Okay, so let me think here. What color should I do for the exterior? I've got some of my new jacquard colors here. If you see one, maybe Nebula? Or that's black opal. Ooh, that might be cool. Maybe I'll do black opal as the exterior. I'll do that. So we've got fire red as the heart, and then we'll do the black opal coming down. So to start, I'm going to get my liquid dye here and just squirt it on. Liquid dye is really messy. Usually, if you're doing it right, it shouldn't be that messy, but you see, I don't do it totally correct all the time. I'm gonna just take a peek here. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more. I want my heart to be really solid red. I want it to really stand out. Okay, let me grab my towel Then, this is important, folks. We did not soda ash soak. So, I am going to sprinkle with soda ash. You don't really want to do a sprinkle with soda ash on liquid dyes. I mean, you can, but it won't really make that big of a difference. But because there's soda ash mixed in with the liquid dyes, you know, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to do some black opal here. Grab my milkshake spoon. I like to use a milkshake spoon, but you could even just use whatever plastic spoon you have hanging around. Just know that if you do use like a utensil, you're not going to want to eat with it after you've used it for tie-dyeing. So here I'm just sprinkling it on. I'm not going to go super heavy-handed because I would like splits. Splitting is where the color changes from one to another as the ice melts. And I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom. I'm going to go like right there. I don't know if my comments are working or if you guys aren't chatty today, because I cannot see a single comment. Usually by now I've seen a few. So if you're here and I haven't said hello, I'm sorry. All right. Hopefully I'm live. That would be embarrassing. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to add some ice. I brought a cooler in here so I don't have to leave. This is bagged ice from a local gas station. Okay. I've covered the fabric. Here, I think I need one more right there. Do a couple more up here. All right. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab a tote. Here. And I'm just going to elevate it on an incline, and that is how you do gravity dyes. I'm going to sit here and hold this for just a second so that the ice kind of sticks to itself so it doesn't fall down, because that is likely to happen. Another thing you can do is spritz it with soda ash water. Some people keep like a like spray bottle of soda ash water nearby, and they just spray it on, and then it makes the ice kind of stick to itself. All right, I'm gonna set this aside. We did it. First one done. All right. Next up, I am going to do, I'm trying to decide if I should do a heart with a rubber band so you can see how those look a little bit different. I think that's what I'll do. I'll do a heart with a rubber band. Alrighty, here we go. This one, again, I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to find the center with this marker. Here. Let's see here. Go this way. Head's right in the way. Okay, I'm going to find the center of the bottom. I always feel like I need music going, but I can't do music because then I'll get marked for copyright. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to do that. Okay. I am going to fold. So one thing too is you want to just fold the front of the shirt. Unless you want the heart on the back as well, then you would fold the back as well. But for this, I'm doing just the heart on the front, and then the back, I'm going to do a scrunch Or I could do a geode. No, I'm gonna do a scrunch. Okay. All right. We're gonna do the exact same thing. So I'm gonna find right here, kind of the center. Move this up a little bit. If you can even see that. I'm gonna go up here and down here. One thing you can do too, if you're like mass producing these and you want to make a bunch at once, you can create a stencil and do it that way. The only problem is whenever I create a stencil with 8x11 paper, it's usually just a little bit too small. If you're doing a towel, it's not too small, but if you're doing like t-shirts, sometimes it's just a little bit too small. An adult size t-shirt. If you're doing a kid's shirt or a onesie, then that would be a little bit easier. I'm doing the same thing I did before. I'm just accordion folding it here. All right. Do it this way. One thing to note too is I am getting both sides of the fabric, so you don't want to just fold the top part of the fabric. You want to fold both of them into each other. Otherwise, you won't get a full heart. You'll only get half a heart. All right, I'm going to grab a rubber band and wrap it around. One thing that I don't really like about rubber bands is if you do it tight enough, and you want to do it tight enough, you might have to cut it off instead of unwrap it. With Sinew, you just unwrap it. But with something like this, you might need to cut it. I mean, this isn't too tight. And if you cut it, you can sometimes cut a hole in your fabric, which would not be good. That's a no from me. All right, here we go. I'm going to scrunch up the excess here. I'm gonna make this one a little bit more colorful, I think. I'm going to grab, did I already use that? No, I didn't. I don't know where I put that other one I had. I'm gonna do this right here. I'm gonna grab some magic tracks or some sort of barrier. Some people build their own with cardboard, which is something you could do if you so desire. I don't like building my own because it takes a long time. And why do that when I can just use these? You can buy these sometimes used like at a thrift store. Okay, before I forget, again, I'm going to sprinkle soda ash. You can do the soda ash on top or on top of the ice or below the ice. I'm just doing it right here because I'm worried I'm gonna forget if I don't do this. All right, so to start, I'm gonna do the liquid right here. I didn't mix a ton of red because I'm not planning on doing a ton. And like I said at the beginning, this is mixed with soda ash, so it probably won't last longer than an hour or two. I mixed it right at the beginning of the live, so it should be good now. For context, if you were curious, so far I've done 2 hearts and I've used about half. So I've used probably like 1.5 ounces of dye. Okay, let's see, what colors should we do? I want to do a rainbow. I want to do red, yellow, green, blue, and I'm just grabbing these really quick so that you don't get bored. I'm going to do kind of a rainbow. So I'm going to do yellow, lime pop, mermaid's dream, and powerberry. So here we go. Actually, I'm gonna do it on the ice. Why not? yellow. What yellow is this? I didn't even look. I'm not gonna do a ton of yellow. This is daffodil. Lime pop. Here's lime pop. Here's mermaid's dream. It's just like a pretty teal color. And then Powerberry. As you can see, I use a lot of Powerberry because I have a huge container of it. All right, I need to add a little bit more ice on that Powerberry right here. Right there. I need to add a little more ice. All right. Ta-da! Okay, there we go. We've got our shirt done with the rubber band instead of the Sinew, and a little rainbow exterior with a scrunch. So the other one we did a gravity. This one will be a scrunch. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside. I think I just decided the next one I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you what it looks like if you don't liquid dye the heart, but you do ice dye on the heart. I'll show you the difference between those. How about that? And I'm thinking for this one, how much time do I have? How long have I it doesn't tell me how long I've been live. Oh, 30 minutes, okay. Yeah, I have a minute. So I'm going to do a geode with this heart and we'll see how it turns out. One reason why I wanted to show you all these different options is because the way I do it is I do liquid and then I use Sinew. And maybe you don't have Sinew, or maybe you don't want to do liquid. You might like the results of doing a rubber band better than Sinew. You might like an ice dyed heart over a liquid dyed heart, you know? Everybody's preferences are so different. That's one reason why if you don't like follow all sorts of different artists, you might not see a style you really like. Maybe some people don't like tie-dye and it's just because they haven't seen tie-dye they really like. Like some people don't like tie-dye, but then they see my geodes and they're like, oh, I didn't know tie-dye could look that cool. Some people see my geodes and think that doesn't look like tie-dye. I want a rainbow spiral. You know, which is fine. We all want our own things. Okay, I'm gonna move these out of the way. There we go. And, okay. So last heart, I'm gonna do a heart again. Here's below the armpit right here. Here's my center, and I'm gonna do a heart right here. Oh, that's too big. I'm gonna do it a little bit smaller. I don't want the whole shirt to be a heart. I don't want the heart to go all the way to your belly button. You know what I'm saying? All right, here we go. I'm going to accordion fold just like I did before. You can see as you get used to it, it speeds up quite a bit. You can do it pretty quick. So if you're doing a few at a time, but I would like to remind you all that I have been doing this for 7 years. So don't compare your speed to mine. If you're watching this on 2 times speed, I bet it's even more impressive. In fact, everybody on the rewatch, let's bump our speed up to 2.5. Just kidding. And see how cool it is to accordion fold really fast. All right, there we go. And I'm gonna do Sinew for this one because I'm gonna do a geode on the exterior with Sinew, and I don't want the lines to be like a different weight. Oh, it's kind of coming unfolded a little bit there. Okay. Just doing this 3 or 4 times. And pull it tight. There we go. So if you've never done a geode, these are kind of a more intermediate fold. People love geodes and they start with geodes and then they get really discouraged because they're pretty tricky. But I'm going to mark this. I'm going to forget that this is the heart. So I'm going to color all over it so I remember this is the heart. Because I want to do the heart red. And the rest I'm gonna do Pillars of Creation. This might look so ugly, I cannot wait to see. So with my geode, I like to just do a big old scrunch. I'm gonna do 3 to 4 wraps there. Pull it tight. I like to go on an angle a little bit so it's not a concentric circle. You don't want to just like do another one right there. You want to kind of scrunch it and then do it a little bit on an angle. So this side you can see is bigger than that side. That's what will make it look more organic and not just like a bunch of circles. That's a mistake a lot of newbies make. If you see like some new people trying out geodes, a lot of times they just kind of look like circles, which is fine. Some people actually do that on purpose. But if you're going for a more organic geode, like the ones that I do more often, you're gonna want to do a little more scrunching and a little more asymmetry. How about that? Alright, so I've got my first little node done here. I will say this shirt is a 4X, so it's a lot of fabric, and I accidentally got some dye right there, but that's okay. Some geodes tie up pretty fast. This one's probably going to take me anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes, which is normal. But again, I've been doing it for a while, so it might take you 20, and that's okay. You want something you're going to love, so take your time if you need to. You can always unwrap and redo it if you feel like you're not married to it. But here's some advice I'll give you if you're a newbie. Just tie it up and dye it. Don't get super concerned with how the tie looks, because you're not going to know what your result looks like until you're done. You cannot anticipate, like even as I'm tying this right now, I cannot anticipate if this is going to look good. Unless you've used the same colors and done the same method a few times, there's no real way to know. One thing I do whenever I teach big group classes is I say, I want you to envision what your tie-dye is going to look like, and then I want you to forget that, because that's not what it's going to look like. You have to kind of surrender to the process a little bit, because you can't, unless you're very advanced, it's really hard to anticipate what your final result will look like. And I think even advanced people, they're experimenting all the time, so they don't really know what their result will look like all the time either. So I'm just finishing up the geode here. You can see here I marked, that's the heart, so that's what I'm going to do, red. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to try to scrunch that up there and keep the red out of it, because I don't want the red to be anywhere but on the heart. So I'm going to do this. Oopsie. There we go. Okay, I'm going to get this is a cake pan. You can get these from Walmart for like, I think I paid $8 for this one, but you can also always thrift them. I highly suggest glass, not metal, unless you aren't going to use it all that often, because it is corrosive. Okay, here we go. I'm going to sprinkle soda ash. Again, I did not soda ash soak these for that reason, because I wanted to show you that you don't have to if you don't want to. You don't have to do anything in tie-dye. That's one thing a lot of people, like on the Reddit groups and stuff, they're like, what step did I miss? What did I, and like, there's some things you have to do. You have to use soda ash, but you don't have to soak it. You have options. You know what I'm saying? Okay, fire red. I'm going to do, this is my fire red, and I'm going to do that on the heart. I don't need that much. I want to cover it. I want the dye to go completely through. That's one thing with hearts. You want to make sure that the color goes all the way through, or else one half of your heart will be darker than the other half. We don't want that. Okay, now I'm going to do Pillars of Creation. This is a color that, do I have my sample here? Ah, here it is. This is what it looks like. This isn't like a super great example, but it's like gray and then it splits brown. It is so cool. That is not a good representation. If you look at my recent shorts, I did a silk pillowcase and I used Pillars of Creation on that. So that's a good example. If you're on my Instagram, it's at storebrandAnna, one word. If you're on my Instagram, I shared a couple examples because I bought a pound of this dye because I love it so much. I just love Pillars of Creation. So we'll see how that looks with the red. Okay, I don't have a ton more of this, so I'm just gonna sprinkle that on there. And then I'm gonna do nice here. Okay, and then I'm gonna just balance some ice right here. I'll hold it there. Oh, see, it fell right off. Put another one right there. One thing I like about my fridge ice is they're kind of like a cube, so I can balance them pretty well. If you have those moon-shaped ice, those work pretty well too, but these are nice. All right, there you have it. There we go, folks. All right, I'm going to switch it back to my face. Thank you for joining me so much. It was a pleasure as always. Please comment below or message me anytime if you have any questions. Ideally, I'm here to help you. I am here to show off a little bit because I'm really good at tie-dye. I'm just kidding. But I like to show you the projects I'm doing, but I really want to help you do your own too. So anyway, thanks for joining me, folks. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Oh, here's the other thing. I may start going live a little bit later. I may start going live about 5. My assistant, Grace, who's not here today, is going to be in a musical. And she's got rehearsal Saturday mornings, and I want Grace with me. Also, we might get some other people. So if you can join us at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard, that's probably what it will be going forward. Unless people hate it, we'll go back to 10 a.m. and I just won't have my Grace. And that's okay. All right, thanks for joining me. See ya.